Hi, I'm David Jones. I'm the branch secretary for Wirral Unison and a Socialist Alternative member. I'm speaking in a personal capacity. The last 8 weeks or so have been a time of anxiety and worry for many workers, as we've seen struggles over ensuring appropriate PPE and testing is in place. Also, for many workers, care workers in particular, there's been concerns about the lack of appropriate sick pay and also low pay levels, basic minimum wage being paid to people doing incredibly difficult jobs. We have to oppose those poor levels, poor conditions people are on, and press for improvements. In Wirral, we've been successful in launching a campaign that has led to the implementation of the real living wage, and also towards ensuring that care workers get full sick pay if they're off for COVID related reasons. That will provide reassurance for many workers, but it's also indicative of what can be done if unions at a local level, working with activists, working with communities, apply pressure to ensure that care workers get the treatment that they deserve. And I would, urge every community to be taking steps to get those improvements for care workers. We're now, of course, in the situation though where Boris Johnson is signalling the rush to return to work. Let's ease the lockdown, let's all get back to work. But of course, his proposals, which are being issued late, they're ill-considered, they're ill-thought out, and they are inconsistent in many occasions. They do not provide security and safety for workers, and that is not good enough. We cannot support a return until it is safe for workers to do so. In schools, we can clearly see that young children and teachers and support staff are being treated as guinea pigs by trying to push through a return by the 1st of June. It's pleasing to see that I think 9 national unions have issued a statement yesterday opposing any unsafe return, and we welcome that. But on a local level as well, we have to organise to ensure that the pressure is kept up. And in Wirral, we're organising a rally and petition with the teaching unions precisely to oppose any unsafe return. And it will not be safe on the 1st of June. We can be quite confident to say that those measures will not be in place by that time. We also know, though, that no worker should have to go to an unsafe workplace, and we need to defend that position. There is backing in legislation. There's been talk on social media, and quite rightly so, about Section 44 of the 1996 Act. And we do need to be very familiar with that. That does provide protection, that no worker needs to go into an unsafe workplace and should not suffer any detriment for doing so. It is disappointing, but it is perhaps indicative that Keir Starmer has failed when asked explicitly on at least 2 occasions to, advise workers of their rights, advise Labour voters of their rights. On the activist level and a ground level, we need to ensure members are aware of those rights and support any workers where there is a lack of safety. We will do that in Wirral, and I know many other activists around the country will take exactly the same stance. We also need to protect workers who are in the high risk category, because those who are high risk or live with someone who is high risk, not in the shielding capacity category, but the next one down, have had some measure of protection from the government guidance that's been issued, and we've been able to build upon that to ensure that people who cannot go into work still receive full pay. But the latest guidance from the government has muddied the waters on that and has left many of our workers locally in fear of their health if they are pressed to go back into work. We need to defend those workers and say no one should be putting themselves at risk to go into work. We can achieve victories at this level, at a local level, and if there's enough pressure locally around the country, we can force the government to back down. It is imperative that we do so. I'll conclude my remarks there. Thank you for taking the time for listening, and keep up the fight in solidarity.